I have no negative things. The housing authority, the folks that we work with in Fresno, they're doing an important job. There are slumlords everywhere. That's really who they are trying to protect tenants, which they should, against the greedy, slumlords. I think there's a special place in hell for slumlords, personally.
Yep.
I will admit that, the first couple of times I got the reports and had, I don't know, I'll call them nitpicky things. I didn't understand. But again, it's a standard process, and you should keep your units to a certain level. And I don't mind them anymore. I welcome them. I want the property to be uh, to an acceptable standard at all times, and I want the tenants held accountable. And again, the program, like you say, lower turnover, guaranteed rent, rent increases. Um, during the whole pandemic, rent was never late. It always showed
Yeah.
up, usually the day before. A lot easier to pay your mortgage when the rent shows up. So I think there will be a lot of people switching. So I think a lot of the downside, people assume that people in Section 8 housing are um, harder to deal with, and I've not found that the case. In fact, if you were to, give me truth serum and talk about my tough five or top five worst tenants, three of them were cash tenants, right? So I just think there's a lot of misconceptions, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
really the issue with Section 8 is it's not poor, it's fixed income, right? There's a lot of people on pensions and whatnot that's just what has to happen. So I'm a huge supporter of the program. I like the team I work with in Fresno.
And when you talk about bad tenants, there's always bad tenants, just like there are bad landlords. And so, I mean,
Exactly.
diligence, it's you do your reference checks on the past landlords, you have objective questions, and it's no different than your screening of other tenants.
Oh,
And
let's be clear. It can't be different. It
yeah,
has to be the
it's
same.
the same process, totally. And there are certain states, right, where you cannot discriminate against Section 8. So when you are going through that process, states like California, Connecticut, DC, Delaware, Maine, Massachusetts, there's a whole list where you have to say, if a tenant comes and says, I have a housing voucher, you have to say, yes, I do accept it. And there's actually law firms out there that will go around and type in to Zillow Rental Manager or whatever, do you accept Section 8, just to hear a landlord say no to take them to court, right?
Oh, great.
So be very mindful of that. We've actually heard multiple landlords coming to us after the fact saying this happened. This is why I'm going to use Hemlane. Um,
Yeah.
and
Don't do that.
so
Yeah.
just be very mindful of that. We actually have a blog article that lists all the states that are required to accept Section 8. So if you're wondering if your state does, check your laws. You could just type it into Google or not ChatGPT, I don't think at this point, because it's as 2021. But we also have something called Section 8 housing debrief for landlords, and you could just search that in Google.